once I got a few months without watching porn, there's like this different kind of clarity. Before, I'm just stuck in this mode where it's like, oh, I'm not feeling well, or I'm stressed. Let me just go watch porn real quick, and then I'll get back to work. Versus, damn, where is this feeling coming from? Why am I feeling stressed? And it's like, oh, it's because I stayed up late 2 days in a row. Oh, it's because I haven't eaten anything. I compare it to the Matrix. Everything slows down, and you're just like, you're seeing every single thought or feeling for what it is, rather than just being a victim to circumstance.
So, hey everyone, I got Israel here. He just came off the intensive not too long ago. And brother, thank you for taking the time to just share your experience and your wins as well during the time in the program. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and actually how you came across the Porn Reboot system?
Sure. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I was on Facebook Marketplace, was just scrolling, and then I saw one of his ads. It's the one where it's like it's a hand, it's like a girl's hand, like reaching out through the screen to like a guy, and then it has
Yeah,
the colors of like the Pornhub colors. It's like the orange and then the black.
yeah.
So I was like, what the hell is this? Started clicking,
Mhm.
and got cookied, and then pretty soon, yeah, had someone from the reboot reach out to me, and then that's how everything got started.
Then you got bamboozled with the ad. No.
They cookied me,
And,
yeah, got
and
stuck.
so that's scary. Okay, that's cool, man. That's interesting. It's the first time I've heard of that ad. So what was going on during that time that kind of led you, what made you click on it? What was going on in your life? Pretty much an issue or whatever it is that was going on. What was that?
Sure, yeah. So I guess we can go all the way back to when I first saw porn. I was I was around like 8 years old. And I remember one of my friends brought a Playboy magazine. It was from his dad's stash. And that was the first time I ever saw a naked woman. And it just like I'll never forget that time, because like I felt so guilty about it, but at the same time I was like, dang, like where else could I find something like that? That's 8 years old. Fast forward to now, I'm 28 years old. There was one point in time in my life where I had like committed, no more porning, no more porn or masturbating.
Hmm.
And I went 2 years without porn or masturbation. Don't get me wrong, it was hard, but like it was definitely doable. But then by the end of that 2 year streak, whatever you
Hmm.
want to call it, it was just so much. Yeah, I just fell right back into old habits.
Dang.
So yeah, fast forward to when I stumbled across the ad.
Mhm.
I think I was definitely lying to myself. I was like, porn's not too big of an issue for me. I've struggled with it in the past, but if I wanted to, I could definitely stop whenever I wanted to.
Yeah.
But when I saw the ad, it just drew me in. I was like, dang, what is this?
No, brother, thank you for sharing. Give us some backstory. And so coming into the program, right? What kind of stuck out to you? What was the one thing that was like, whoa, this is different?
So I started using Net Nanny. This is like back in 2017. And I remember I had like an accountability partner, and I was like, you know what? This is finally going to kick this habit.
Mhm.
Shocker, it didn't. So I think a lot of it had to do with the onboarding. That's what really, not necessarily blew me away, but it was like a punch in the gut to me. What I mean specifically was JK was like, a lot of people when they first come into the program, they have all of these, whether it's practices or beliefs or things that they think they're like, oh, I know it's better. If you knew what was better, this wouldn't be a problem. He's like, so what I'm asking you to do, and he didn't say this, but like the way I took it was shut up and follow the instructions, use the tools and the resources and do the work. And to me that's what I needed to hear, because when I first got onboarded, I was like, I already know about this stuff. I've already tried this stuff. I've been in 12-step programs before. Like
Mhm.
I'm the knowledgeable vet who knows so much, realizing that it's like, no, you don't. And I don't have the results that I want. And that was the biggest thing. It was like if you follow these things, just him like not really guaranteeing, but like promising, he's like it's gonna make a big difference for you. So
Wow, and I appreciate you sharing that because you're right. We could come in with the attitude of like, yeah, I was like, it's like going to a different gym and you're like, yeah, I'm the strongest one here, and then no, you're not, motherfucker. like there's other ones way better. And just being humble, right? It humbles you. It's a really humbling experience to come in like, wow, I don't know it all. And that's okay, right? That's why I'm here. And what was the one thing that you started implementing right away that was like very effective for you?
The feelings exercise. So I still do the feelings exercise today,
Mhm.
but yeah, one of my accountability partners, he was a big influence on me for implementing that practice. So yeah, first I'd say the feelings exercise, and then the second thing is really scheduling time throughout the day to meditate. Previously, I was like, I don't know, I just looked at meditation like there's too much going on in my head, and I'm not gonna spend 15 minutes closing my eyes or just like taking deep breaths. It's like this is pointless. But
Right.
once again, I was skeptical, but I had never actually disciplined myself and done it. So it's like I can't really talk on it because I haven't tried it. So
Yeah. Nice. So meditation, huh? So, and shout out to your AP. I know who he is, so in case he's watching.
sure.
And that is great because meditation is something that could seem because you just hear, right? You have your perception about it.
Yeah.
Then once you implement it, you're like, wow, you know what? Even if it's just a little bit like every day, it really builds an awareness that you have to experience it,
Yeah.
right? If someone talks about it, you're like, yeah, cool. But then when you actually experience something like, whoa, I actually feel more present, like you start noticing, it's like Daredevil, man. You started all the senses started coming to you. But
It's
to put it
funny.
in
Yeah.
those terms. Yeah, and but yeah, brother. So as a result of that, what has improved in your life? Just having more awareness. What's actually improved in your reboot capital, as we say here?
Biggest thing is focus.
Mhm.
So prior to that, I would allow distractions. Yeah, just not being aware of any of that stuff previously. Yeah, I had been aware, I had journaled in the past. I had tried these different practices, but really, after you get some time, or I can only speak for myself, but after I was able to get some time underneath my belt, like, oh, I haven't watched porn in X amount of time. Not that I was like tracking it, like, oh, I hit this mile mark.
Mhm.
But once I got a few months without watching porn, there's like this different kind of clarity,
Mhm.
where it's like before I'm just stuck in this mode where it's like, oh, I'm not feeling well or I'm stressed. Oh, let me just go watch porn real quick. Just 5 minutes and then I'll get back to work.
Yeah.
Versus, damn, where is this feeling coming from? Why am I feeling stressed? And it's like, oh, it's because I stayed up late 2 days in a row. Oh, it's because I haven't eaten anything. Yeah, it's as you say, like Daredevil. It's like I compare it to the Matrix. Everything slows down and you're just like you're seeing every single like a thought or feeling for what it is rather than just being like a victim to circumstance.
That's good, man. It's like you identify with that, right? And then it's
Yeah.
like you react. And it's like, whoa, like I didn't know it was just I could just literally sit back and just watch. But it's such a strange concept, right? Like, and it's funny because again, like even for myself, I could relate to you. Like I came in like, yeah, I've been in celery recovery, this and that, but
Yeah.
I had no idea like there's habits that a person that specifically deals with a compulsive behavior, sexual one, is very different.
Yeah.
And it's very beneficial, right? Obviously, it's been a couple years for me, but it's a constant like I feel like at this stage is learning, like really learning and becoming an expert at yourself, right? Is what JK says. And that's a true saying. And brother, what else is going on? What other area of your life has improved as a result?
Another one that I had previously closed the door on is relationships.
Mm,
So one big reason was the fear of carrying this addiction into a relationship. It was like, oh, I have to fix this, before I let this leak into a potential spouse. And then what if I get married and we have a kid and then I still have that porn addiction?
yeah.
That fear was definitely there. But I think what's changed a lot is my perspective um around that addiction. It's like, first off, I'm not an addict.
Hmm.
It's like, and I don't self-identify as one. So it's like changing the way that I see myself because if I identify as something different, then I'll treat myself as whatever that thing is that I identify with. So it's like if I'm an addict or if I say that, I
Yeah.
constantly say it's like I'm a recovering addict, then it's like there's a certain belief system attached with that where it's like, oh, I'll never kick this habit.
Mm,
And
that's good.
meeting with JK, especially one-on-ones, were a huge game changer for me because in the middle of my thought, as I'm speaking these things, he'd stop me and he'd be like, "Notice." He's like, "No, notice how you're speaking right now." And it really just like jolted me and shook me. And it's like, oh, I'm acting really weird right now. I don't want to self-identify this way. I'm gonna stop that.
Wow. That's really good, man. Like, that's powerful. And you're right. I agree with that. Like saying I am, right? That's like the ultimate saying.
Yeah.
Like that's what you are. It's like, and you're right. It comes with belief systems, certain consciousness, emotions, how God sees you, whatever your beliefs are, right? It's
Yeah.
like all these things, but we don't think about it. We just kind of habitually say it. And then it becomes and manifests, right? Like, whoa, it's what I am. And
Yep.
that's wild, man. That's some crazy awareness. And
Yeah.
that's
Well,
good, though.
yeah, shout out to JK once again because it was like he does not let you get away with that you know what I mean? It's like when you're in the middle of you're like, "Oh, I'm so terrible. I'm so bad. I need to change." It's like, "Yo, stop that. Where's this
Yeah.
coming from? Let's take a second and really think about it." It's like, "Oh man. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. This is all programming and I can change it." That's the exciting part. It's like I can fix it. I don't have to continue this like downward spiral of shame, 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 guilt, guilt, guilt. I'm never gonna make it, you know?
Yeah. That's good, man. I love this because it hits home for me too. Because I'll catch myself saying like that too. Like, and it's like, whoa, our words are really powerful, man. Like, I always tell the brothers, it's like, hey, notice how you're talking or speak to yourself how you would speak to your friend. Like, would you tell your friend this? Like, no. Like, but
Exactly.
we're great at giving advice to others, but we don't take it ourselves sometimes. But that's like, yeah, that's our human nature. But it's very once you get to that flow of like you could pump yourself up and like coach yourself, bro,
Yeah.
that's how you know like, oh, I'm feeling good, right?
Yeah.
And that's becoming an expert at yourself, man. Literally. So that's awesome. And Israel. Anything else you want to say? So I like asking this question even before I end these calls. What would you tell a brother that's like, that guy that's in 12 steps, right? He's like saying, "Yeah, but I know it," or still clinging on to like their 2 year streak and just that guy that says I used to bench 315 and doesn't do now, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Living
So
in the
that
past.
living in the past, right? And knowing that they should make a change. What would you tell that brother?
It's gonna sound corny at first, but that there's hope. It's
Mm,
like there really is hope and that it's not some external source. It's like what the reboot has allowed me to do is to look inside.
mm,
And it's like, man, I am good enough. And I have the resources and the tools to create the kind of results that I want for myself. Like
nice.
going back to the whole relationship thing, previously, I was just like, man, I'm never gonna get married. I'm a weird, like, I'm this weird pervert and like no girl's gonna like me, type of thing. When in reality, once again, it's all the programming. So it really depends on how you speak about yourself and yeah, just your perspective. It's not that simple, but it's like if you follow the resources within the reboot itself,
Mhm.
like it's more than possible to change your life.
Wow,
And and
brother.
and,
Yeah.
and once again, like if I were to try to speak to myself,
Mm,
I'm sure my hard-headed, like, just personality would doubt it. I'd be like, "No, you're." But in reality, it's like, dude, I'm free now.
yeah.
I no longer have to walk around being like, "Oh, I have this debilitating sick disease." It's like, no,
Yeah.
that's not reality. So,
Right. Wow, brother, that's great, man. And thank you for your time and sharing your wisdom. I really love this conversation, brother. And thank you for taking the time. And brothers, thank you for taking the time to listen to us here. Hopefully you found some value and relate it to yourself and know that, hey, you have that power, right? As you notice this conversation is within you, man.
yeah,
Stuff around. Just take that leap of faith and hey, it'll work itself out if you're willing, obviously, to implement more importantly. All right, brothers. See you in the next one.